So I bought a power hammer about a year ago. You want to take a look at it? We're back in my garage. It took a little bit to get it here. This thing is pretty heavy, but more on that later. Thought I'd just show kind of an overview here. I'll talk through some of the parts, the different components, the workmanship. I think this was made by a couple different people. The person I bought it from claimed that it was probably built for a John Deere dealership, I think in Dalles, Oregon. So since shooting this video, I've actually taken most of the hammer apart, and it's pretty striking the difference in workmanship from one part to the next. Some of the welding work seems to be really nice. The beads are even, they're large, well controlled. Not that much spatter overall, particularly on the column we're looking at here. But some of the other work, particularly around the guard and the mounting plate for the ram guides, there's quite a lot of stick spatter. The forging work on the arms is pretty rough. I really wish I knew more about how this thing was made, the process. Here we're looking at the clutch wheel. So I haven't gotten this part yet, but it looks like this was one of the better made portions of the hammer. It operates very similar to a cone clutch off of a Little Giant. There's the bearing caps, and a little bit of spatter. I gotta wonder how they did some of the things. How did they make that oval? It doesn't look like it has any hammer marks. Wasn't fabricated. It was welded to the bearing cap, obviously, but that's the treadle, or the lever connecting the treadle to the cone clutch. A turnbuckle for the treadle. That's the treadle itself. Pretty nicely made, real even curve. Matches the plate quite nicely. The anvil looks like it's a solid, well, definitely solid. The guy I bought it from theorized that it might be a portable bridge pin. I think mostly because of the dimensions, and it has these keys cut in. I don't know enough about portable bridges to know if that's true or not. Seems reasonable. This whole thing seems pretty heavy. I think it's heavier than the standard 50-pound Little Giant. The shipping weight is about 1,600 pounds. This to me feels closer to a ton, just based on how my shop crane responds to it. But hard to say. I don't have any way to weigh it. I measured the anvil, and if it is solid, the anvil alone is close to 600 pounds. Whoever built this put on a sow block, so I'm quite happy to see that. It looks like you can unbolt that ring, and it probably slides right off. I don't think it is keyed, as far as I can tell. I don't think it has a dovetail. The die keys are in pretty rough shape. One of the reasons I'm happy about the sow block. Won't be surprised if I have to pop the sow block off. Chuck this up in the mill or bandsaw. try to cut out that key. I think the top key, or top die key, might be in a little bit better shape. There's been some rough times. A couple dents in the dovetail there. But that at least comes out by description, so I should say by definition. With that sow block, I can get the sow block out. I can get the ram out. Should be able to get the dies out without damaging the female dovetails. Get them nice and cleaned up. Everything moves nice and clean. The ram guide. A couple neat things here. They put a little bit of a guard on the sides. These things. I think the arms might be a little narrower than a Little Giant. I'm not sure. I don't know what to expect there. I hope the spring is standard. It might be hard to get a spring if it isn't. And this entire thing is welded. I don't think there's a cast part on it. You can see the ways for the ram. It's like probably a piece of angle with the corner filed out, ground out. Held in place by these two chunks of flat with a bead down the outside. A little surprised by the flame cut marks along the edge here. I don't know if that was redone later, or if maybe they got tired, lazy, ran out of time, and just didn't clean it up. You can see the ram in there. I haven't taken anything apart yet, so I'm curious to see how much it actually weighs. As far as I can tell, to my eye, it looks like these arms are forged. They're pretty thick compared to everything else on the hammer. A pretty heavy steel. They're not super uniform. And I'm pretty sure those are hammer marks. No knuckle, just a straight pin hinge. So all the adjustment is on the other side, and it's through the spring. So it's actually via hex nut, I guess. That's interesting. Looks like it pushes that plate. There's a collar on the pitman. So I'm gonna guess that this doesn't work very well. I think it probably doesn't work very well because either wear or they just oversized that hole a little bit. But I think if it did work, we wouldn't have these. So I'm hoping when I take it apart, I can find a way to get this working better, and I won't need those top and bottom stop. It'd be nice to be able to move that up and down more easily. top of our pitman. Looks like the pitman is steel. Hopefully there's a brass bushing or something in there. There is a little bit of an oil port. Need to investigate that a little more. Some prior move, I think when this was being moved to the guy that I bought it from, the seller at that point transported it and decided that in order to transport it safely, he needed to lock everything down so nothing moved. To do that, they took out all the shims. So there's some shim here. You can see this piece right there, but not enough, and there shouldn't be a gap. And then all the bearing caps also lost their shims. So those are all basically just loosely bolted in place right now. I don't have any of the shim material. So while everything moves, I can't turn it on. There's no motor hooked up to it either. I'm a little hesitant to put it through its paces, even if I could, until we get those shims back in there. But I can give it a whirl here. Just got it balanced, the top of the stroke. Other thing to note, they did make it adjustable, so it has two stroke length points. Move the pitman, get a longer stroke. At some point I'll probably want to put a guard around that so that sliding surface, that V-way, it doesn't pop me in the face. You can see a little bit more of the ram here. Cotter keyed in. I think that's about it for now. I've been taking this apart. I'll try to get some other video together. Catch you later.